Hey guys, welcome back to the Socially Awesome channel. Elise Smith here, and I'm so excited today to be bringing you another female entrepreneur. She is going to just share all of the deets about being a website designer. April Hiatt is a strategic website designer and branding expert. And you guys know from listening to my podcast and just following me, branding is my jam. So I'm excited to see what I can learn from April as well today too. So thank you so much for being here with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I love talking about website stuff and branding. So, I get really excited.
Yeah. So I know you work specifically with coaches and authors. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So tell me, I like to usually start a little bit with your story. What inspired you to start an entrepreneurship? Did you do websites forever? Have you always done that? Did you go to school for that? What's your journey into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, you bet. So, no, I haven't done these forever. I have 3 kids I'm now an empty nester mom. They don't live at home anymore. But a few years ago, when they were all living at home, my middle son was having just some mental health concerns, and I needed to find somebody to work with him. But trying to find a mental health person specifically working with young men who were teenagers who had this specific issue was really hard. So I went online and I looked and I Google searched and I couldn't find anything. So I asked a friend and she said, and I just, I confided in her and I was like, hey, this is what we're struggling with at my house. Do you know of anything? And she goes, actually, my son had the exact same thing going on. And this is the company that I worked with and I loved them. And I said, okay, awesome. What's their website? Let me go check them out. So she gave me their website and I checked them out and I was like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. Like, these are just not my people. And I don't think he's going to work with them. And they don't do anything that I need. So yeah, no, this isn't going to work. So I kept looking. And about a week later, she followed up and she said, hey, April, did you call them? And I said, actually, no, I didn't. Cause I looked them up online and they just don't look good. And she said, April, I promise you, this is what you're looking for. This is exactly what you need. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And so we called and they actually really were exactly what we needed. And so about a year into this, we had a great experience, loved the company, loved everything they did and all the people there. I mean, they were just amazing. They were awesome. And about a year into it, I knew them well enough because we'd been working with them long enough. I knew the owner and I said, I almost didn't come here. I love what you guys do, but I almost didn't call you because your website is so bad. It just didn't give me the information that I needed. And he said, really? I said, yeah, I'm wondering if there's other moms out there that are going through the same thing I am that are just not calling you because they're not finding what they need on your website. And he said, you're probably right. He goes, do you want to build us a website? And I went, okay, I haven't built a website before. And he said, you know what? Actually, he goes, you are exactly the person who knows what needs to go on there. He didn't use the word ideal client that we all use in this world, but he said, you're perfect. You know what moms are looking for. So if you could go learn how to do it, I will pay you to go take some courses, to figure it out, go do it, and then build my website. And I went, okay, sure, I'll do that. So I did. And I loved it. And then he referred me to other people who referred me to other people. And then my business just kind of grew. And I was lucky because I was able to start out small and my kids were older. So as they got older and needed me less, then I could do more and more with my business. And so I found that I loved it. I was really good at it. And I just continued improving and continued learning and then just kept going from there. And, 7 years later, here I am doing this full time. My kids are now out of the house and I still love it. And I'm still learning every day. And anyway, and now I'm talking to you. So here we go.
Oh, that is awesome because that is just, you got the job before you started the business, which is crazy because that's so many people. I mean, you knew right then and there, okay, I have people that need this. And that's so cool. And you had no experience. Yep. So honestly, guys, for those of you that are listening, they're like, I don't know how to do this. Go figure it out. Go find someone that can teach you. Like April's the perfect example of, she's like, okay, I'll go figure it out. So, I love that. So tell me, how did you decide that you wanted to work specifically with authors and coaches? Did you do, different, all types of brands for a while and then realize that's what you were most passionate about? Is there something that attracted you to that niche specifically?
I was really passionate because I was a mom and trying to find help for my kids. I was really passionate about helping other people do the same thing. And because that's what my children needed was a coach. And in my son's case, he actually needed a therapist. But often kids don't need a full therapist. They just need, a coach or a group or something like that. So that's where my interest is right there. And then, to be honest, I just kept getting referrals for more, because once you're in a space, the people that are in that niche know other people in that niche that need your services, and then they just refer you in. So yeah, I got a lot of referrals, probably, oh gosh, the 80% of my business is referrals. And so as people, come in and, I just love it. I like being able to help people who I know are going to help a huge amount of people. So it's kind of a domino effect in my head where I feel like, oh, if I help this person, then I know she's going to help, 25 or 100 other people. And I feel like I got to be a little bit a part of that. And so maybe that's self-serving, I don't know, but that just drives me a little bit. So I love that. And then on the authors, there's just a big overlap. A lot of coaches have written books and they're authors and they're trying to get them out. And so I found in that overlap that was another area that I could, get referrals in and get behind, and I was passionate about. And so that's where I went.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome, because I agree. A lot of coaches, when they want to get into like the speaking space and things like that as well, they tend to write a book. And I actually have a coach that said books aren't usually the moneymaker of their business. It's just more of like a credibility piece. But if that's not featured on their website, where's the credibility coming from? If they're not getting that SEO traffic. And so very, very, very smart. Okay. I love that. So tell me a little bit. I like to usually ask what it looks like to work with you, because everyone has a different onboarding process. A lot of people out there, maybe they've dabbled, maybe they bought a domain name and then they got in WordPress and they were like, oh gosh, no, I'm out. Like, what does it look like to work with you? Because I'm sure you've got where, you sit down with them and you'll kind of draw out their site. What is their vision? What does their brand look like? And there's a process to that. I know from doing some branding, previously in my previous life, a lot of people don't know what they want and they're clueless. So how do you kind of help them draw out, what do you want? What do you want your brand to look like? Just tell me all the things.
Yeah. And you're right. A lot of people do come in and they're kind of clueless, but so before we ever build a website, we sit down and we do a lot of, let's clarify what your business looks like, who it is you're trying to talk to, and what services specifically you provide. Because a lot of people have those ideas. They're just jumbled around in their head and they kind of know what they want to do, but they can't articulate it. So I spend a lot of time, I have a questionnaire that I ask people to fill out, and then I go over that questionnaire with them and I ask very specific questions and we talk things through, because a lot of people are like me, they're verbal processors. And so if they can just talk it out with somebody, they can get it out there. So we ask basic, I talk to them about who it is that you want to serve, how specifically you're going to help them. What are the services that you offer specifically? Do you do one-on-one coaching? Do you do group coaching? Do you have a membership? Do you have a course? Like, what does that look like? And then also, what are your goals? What is the long-term goal? What do you have in mind? Like in the short term, maybe you want to build your email list because you're just starting out. And then what's the next step? Like, you have to look at the whole picture. And then we also talk a lot about at least with branding, what is the vibe that you're going for? What is the personality that you're looking at? Are you trying to when people meet you and they see you online for the first time, are you going for the, whoa, I'm so excited, wow, and they're, the hot pink and they're just out there? Or are you going for the, I'm calm and I'm, helping you, and just and they're very different tones. And so when you come up with the branding and those foundations, you've got to do all of that first and get that in mind before you jump to a website. You can't skip the foundational pieces, the clarifying what you want, the setting up some of your branding. It doesn't have to be all completed, because creating a brand is a long-term thing, but you do have to have some basic things in mind, like how you want to be perceived and what you want people to remember you, and what your vibe is, and then get those basics in place. And then we move forward with the website. And one of the things that I think people get hung up on is they think they have to know everything. Like they've got to have everything planned out, and they need to know exactly what they want to do and how it's all going to look and all of that stuff. And you know what? You don't. The best part is you can change it along the way. Just get something out there, get a draft, get it, kind of written down basically, but get something, and then go, okay, now I'm learning as I go along. And in your business, you'll learn, you'll change, you'll adapt. Even your niche might adjust a little bit as you work with people. Just in your question earlier, like, did you start with everybody and then you niche down? That's pretty normal. Is you start with what you think. It's kind of a hypothesis. Like, I'm going to start with this. And then as I learn more and work with people, now I'm going to hone it down a little bit as I have more information.
I love that. Because like I said, I've worked with people before, and the revisions back and forth, then people end up just getting frustrated when there's too many. So I love that you have the questionnaire and you really draw out of them, like, what is your client's goal? What are you wanting to come across? What is your persona? Because that's important. And so many people don't realize that if their brand's coming across bold and they're like you said, maybe more introverted, or just connecting the dots there. And as well as I do, there's a whole psychology around colors and all the things. But I've had several people before, and I don't do branding really. I coach on it, but I don't do packages anymore for people, because my anxiety was through the roof when they would come to me and say, well, my favorite color is lime green. And I'm like, okay, so that's all we know, right? That's all we know. So
right.
Guys, work with somebody, but seriously, as important as it is for you to have a brand, you need to work with somebody to help you create that. So for those that are listening and they don't know what their brand is yet, get somebody to help you. Contact April, get someone to work with you, because if your branding's not coming across the way you want it to come across to your ideal clients, you're not going to attract those people to work with you. So that's so important. So I know you offer, like you said, you work with people to discover their branding, and then you do websites. So you have where you do it completely for them, correct?
Yes. And then one of the things that I do that's different than a lot of other website designers is, twofold. One, I will work with you on all of the copy. I am a website copywriter specifically, so I know exactly what things are supposed to say. But I don't write it all for you, because it needs to come from you. It's your story. So I work with you to tell me the story, and then I can help you word it and make it sound good and, be in the right format and stuff. But I help you just get that out a little bit. And then I'm really, really passionate about empowering business owners to run their own business and be able to make updates and changes and stuff as they go along. So the biggest thing that I do is I do trainings afterward. I will sit down for a couple of hours with you and train you on how to log into your website, how to make updates to it, how to make changes, just all the things, so that, so you're empowered to change your business as you need to change your business.
I love that too, because you and I chatted about this on our Connect call, but I have a website. It needs a refresh for sure, but it's just, I've grown a lot since we started it, and it doesn't have everything on there. Some of the things it's got on there aren't updated, all the things, but that's where I was like, I can get in there and I can figure it out. But imagine the people that can't, and then they think so outdated, or, so they're not updating plugins, or their whole website goes down, or all of these different things. But I love that you offer that service to people, because most people would not, and because they want that retainer business. And I do know you do updates for clients, but empowering them to do it from internal is really cool, because that's that gatekeeping that we talk about here, is that a lot of designers won't do that, because they want recurring revenue. Now, me personally, I probably would be the one that said, you showed me how to do this. That's great, but I still want you to do it. And that's okay. And that's where you get the reoccurring revenue from. You built that relationship with people. And so they're going to say, I just want to give you the business. Can you just do it for me? So,
I do. Oh, sorry, Elise. I do have a lot of clients that do that, but I do think it's really important when you own a business, even if you hire stuff out, that you have kind of an idea of what it is the person is doing, but also you don't want to be so dependent on that other person that if something, heaven forbid, were to happen to them, now you're stuck. Now you're like, oh, shoot, I can't do anything. I don't know how to log in. I don't know how to whatever. And even if I turn it over to somebody else, they're going to ask me how to log in and I don't have any of that information. And just make sure that even if you don't do it yourself, even if you hire it out, you know how to get in, that you own everything, that it's all in your name, so that if you are to have somebody else do it, you at least have the tools and the ability to do that.
No, that makes perfect sense, because you never know when your business is going to pivot, when something's going to be needed to be done. So you also have an academy though, right? So what about the person out there that wants to learn how to build websites? Maybe they want to learn from you, or maybe they're on more of a budget, but they need some guidance. You do have an academy as well.
I do, yes. So it's actually it's basically a course, but it's an academy because I have office hours. So as you're going through it, there's videos, there's templates, you go through, you do everything. But sometimes what happens in courses, and I've taken a lot of them, myself included, is I go through and it's all awesome. And then I get to one lesson and I'm like, my screen doesn't look like that screen. And it's not working for me. And I know it's something simple, but I just can't figure it out. And then if I try to post in a Facebook group or something like that, I'm like, I just want to talk to somebody. Could somebody just tell me how to do this? Just get on my screen and show me. So I have open office hours. You can just schedule a little 15-minute appointment with me. And there, as soon as the very next day, if you want to. And then I can just talk you through it. I get on Zoom with you. You can share your screen. You can show me what you're doing. And then usually I can just say, oh, you're right. You're missing that little thing right there. Just click right there or do that little thing. And they go, oh, okay. And then also I know that I need to go update that video, or I need to put a note in that part of the course that says, okay, if you get to this, make sure that you do X, Y, Z. And now everybody benefits.
Yes. Oh, so great. I just made a TikTok the other day, actually, that said the differences between courses and coaching and is community. And it really is. But the idea of it having an academy is kind of that in between, like you said, where they still can have that access to ask questions, but they don't necessarily have to pay the high ticket price of the coaching, the one-on-one coaching. So right. So good. So good. So one thing I like to ask during my interviews is, what is one thing? So someone out there is either getting into branding, getting into websites, or even just into entrepreneurship. And what is one thing you wish you would have known when you started taking on your full-time entrepreneurship role? Like very often we have people say they didn't set boundaries in their business, or they burnt themselves out, or like, what would be one thing that you wish you would have known that you could tell that person that is looking to jump into full-time entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest thing for me is to understand that you learn as you go along. You don't have to know everything before you do something. So if you're thinking, for example, I want to do more on social media, you don't have to do all of the social media channels and learn all of them. Just pick one. And then you don't have to think, well, I have to know everything about this thing to start doing it. Just start doing it. And then as things come up, you'll learn as you go along. So that's been the biggest thing for me, because I am one of those that feels like I have to know everything before I try it. But then I forget stuff. I think I'm stuffing my brain full of so many things, and then I just forget it. But it's so much better if I'll learn the basics, what I need to know to get started. And then I get started, and then I just keep learning as I go along. And it's so much better that way. I wish I'd have learned that years ago rather than trying to stuff it all in there first.
Yes, we definitely set these expectations of, we either get that imposter syndrome where it's like, man, she's moving so much faster than me. Social media is although I love social media, it has made it worse through the years, of course. Or we get to a point where we're like, we're not ready to start yet because I don't know everything. And then you never move. You never make any moves. You never start. So, so good. So good. So I know you have, you've got some resources that we're going to offer to the audience. And guys, I'll link this in the show notes. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is where can people connect with you? Because I know they're going to want to connect with you. They're going to reach out. They're all going to stalk your website for sure now, which is your website.
Go stalk
it. Yeah, I mean, her website's full of resources, guys, like all kinds of free resources, some very low ticket offers for you to maybe do some DIY branding. She's got all kinds of stuff on there. So go check her website out, look at her work for yourself. But where do people connect with you? What platform are you most active on?
So 2 places. One, I'm active on Facebook, just on my personal profile. I have a business page, but Facebook never shows your business page anywhere, but you could just look me up. It's April Hiatt. And there I am. You'll find me. You'll find a whole bunch of hiking pictures with me and my husband. So pretty much what I post on Facebook are some fun little business ideas and then hiking pictures with me and my husband. Like we go hiking all the time. That's just us. So
that's awesome.
Show me, I'm hiking. And then I'm also I'm active in your Facebook group, Elise. Mm-hmm. And then I also am on Pinterest. That is my favorite thing to be. So if you are a Pinterest person, go find me there. I have lots of cool Pinterest pins on there. I love it.
Well, it makes sense. It just makes sense with branding yes. Pinterest is not one that I have, I'd say, tackled yet. I do a lot of video content, which they do have idea pins. Mm-hmm. So I have actually started having my team move some of my TikToks and Reels over there. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll join you over there on Pinterest.
Yeah. Video pins do really, really well on Pinterest.
Yeah. We do some pins. I just haven't put it's not our focus, right? So when I have a new podcast episode, we drop a pin over there and hope that somebody finds it with some SEO. But it is on my 2024 radar because I know they've got where you can do live video there now and all of that. So Pinterest is stepping up, guys. And I know people that have 6-figure businesses just from Pinterest. So Pinterest, you got it. And I love that too, because that's a good way for website traffic, right?
Right. Yeah. The nice thing about Pinterest is it links directly to your website, like a blog post or something like that. But honestly, do what's best for your business. I mean, not everybody's going to be the same, and do what you like is the biggest thing. If you don't like Pinterest, don't do Pinterest. If you don't like TikTok, don't do TikTok. Like just do what you feel good about. And that's anyway.
I love that, but it's great for you to be able to have that education to help people during their website as well, because that was one of the recommendations that the girl I worked with originally with my website was if I wanted to drive traffic to my blog, Pinterest was one of the best ways to do that.
Absolutely.
So definitely, guys, go check out April's Pinterest too. So I know you've got 2 resources we will have linked in the show notes, guys, and I just wanted you to talk about them for a second to give everybody an idea of what they could get here. But you've got a high converting homepage layout template for coaches, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we also have 6 things every beginning entrepreneur needs. So tell us a little bit about these resources, because I want to make sure everyone grabs a copy of them.
Okay. Yes. So the homepage template just helps you know how to lay out your website. So, because a lot of times and it really doesn't matter which website builder you're using, but sometimes you get there and you're like, okay, I want a website. Now what? And you just don't even know what to put where. So this literally just gives you this is what you start, the hero header at the top, and then you do a value statement, and then you offer your services, and then you do a little bit about you. Like it literally just goes through every single section and it has your homepage. And then I also add your about page and your services page. So you know how to lay out your website. And then I also have a bonus, because the hardest part is the headlines. I have a little cheat sheet that comes with it that just gives you some ideas of some really good headlines that you can use and formats for those. And then the 6 things is the things that you need to get started, honestly, before you build your website. And there are some of the basic foundational things like, start getting some of your branding assets together, figure out, what you want to do with that. decide what you're going to be offering, who you're, define your niche, who your ideal client is. And, some of those basic things that you don't always think about, because a lot of people think, I'm starting my business, I need a website, and they just jump to that. Yes. But there really are some steps in between. And so that just goes through the 6 basic ones that everybody should have.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Because I'm a checklist person too. So to have a list that's like, hey, get this, get this, get this, get this. I know there's so many people that are listening to this episode that they're either working it right now on the side and they're 9 to 5 and they haven't done the full transition into entrepreneurship yet. And guys, snag that, because if it's for beginner entrepreneurs, this is going to help you make sure that you're starting off strong. Right. Because there's so many things you're going to mess up and you got to go back and redo. And that's okay. That's part of the process. As April said, learn as you go, learn as you grow kind of thing. But just snag those, because soak up the value that April has shared with us today for sure. Because it's 7 years. You've been in business 7 years, right?
I have. Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to thank you, because I've never had anyone talk about website designing on the show yet.
Yeah.
I've not. You were the first. So this
nice.
is exciting, because I know this is an area of business that everyone is kind of scared of, right? They're all scared to create the website, or they go play on Wix, or they don't want it. They don't, they go play on WordPress. Oh, then they're like, oh, I'm so lost. Or they don't know what platform to use. They're like, Wix or WordPress, what's better? Or there's all kinds of web, platforms, but those are just the two I have people ask me all the time, and I'm like, go ask somebody that does websites. I'm like, I know WordPress is the most robust and it can do the most. So that's where that's my like staple answer I tell everyone.
Right. Yeah, but there is a learning curve with any of them that you use. So, I'm a WordPress person too. I will always be a WordPress person, but at the end of the day, you have to do what works for you. Yeah. And it's, if Wix works for you, then use that. If it doesn't, then don't. Yeah.
Someone told me about was Show It or something like that. There's all these platforms out there, guys. But as April said, and as I've always said with content creation and stuff too, do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. Because if you go try to do what someone else is doing and it's not comfortable to you, you're not going to be consistent with it. So it's going to just blow, it's going to ruin that consistency. But such good value in today's episode. So thank you so much for being here with us. And y'all, go connect with April, snag her freebies in the comments, check out her website, and let her know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to her. I'm sure she's happy to connect with you and help you get your website game up. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, guys. Well, until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome. Bye, guys.